Okay, hello. We're going to be going through some of the basics of Flowlab, trying to get a new game going just to show what that would look like. So we're going to start with an empty project. Now, looking at that screen, we need to start by creating a sprite first, which I'll go into here, left click and then create. And I can change the sprite to look like whatever I want. Now, at the moment, I would like it to be some ground. So I'm just going to go into browse and then pixel blocks. And we're just going to use this one for the sake of the tutorial. You can always make your own assets if you want to make it look a bit different. I'm just going to add in some jumps or whatever. That might not be too clever. Let's get rid of that one. So to spread them out, I'm just cloning them. Maybe something like that. And it's probably good practice as well to just draw a border around the edge, just so our character can't just wander out of screen. Okay, now that won't be seen unless, of course, you fiddle with these settings here and change the width, for example. But for now, let's just leave it at the default. Okay, so once I've done that, I can go into my game level and change my background color. So I'll make it maybe like a sort of a sunny blue color, something like that. Good. And now I'm going to add in our character. So I go left click create, and again in sprites I'm going to browse and go to the characters section. I'm going to choose, maybe I'll use this person. Okay, so I've picked them, and they're going to be my character. Now what I want to do is I want to add in some controls so he can move. So first thing is I'm going to go into edit and physics, and we want to make him movable, meaning that he can move, affected by gravity so he doesn't fly. We want him to be solid, so he can collide with things and like push things or whatever. No rotation though, because that'll make him like go like a turning, almost like he's a ball or something. So we don't want that. The rest of these options are pretty good. I like to put on a capsule collider. It means that the sides of him don't stick to walls very well. So it's kind of nice. For a circle, you can get stuck into things. So we'll do that. And then in here, I'm going to call him player. And I'm also going to call our ground. All right. So I've got that. Now let's add some controls to make this guy move. So normally there's a bundle in here called run and jump. I'm not going to use that because I would like to show you how it works. Now to do that, I need 3 keyboard presses, which I'm going to lay out like that. I need a collision, which I'll use later. I need some numbers. I think I need 3 numbers. Right. And I need a switch, which we'll use later. And I need an impulse. And I also need a velocity. 2 velocities. 1, 2. Hang on. I think 1 is fine. Yeah. Okay, so I've got that. So let's set these keyboard functions up. So you can go click, press any key, I'm going to go left. Any key, I'm going to go right. And any key, I'm going to go up. And that'll be left, right, and jump. Cool. So let's talk about how to link these up. We'll go over to these numbers here, and we're going to label them. It's going to be called left move. This can be right move. And this can be jump height. So this will be how much pixels I move when I press left, how many I move when I press right, and the jump height. So I'm going to set this to be a negative value for left, because remember our character's facing right, so negative will go backwards. And +5 for the right. Our jump height will make it higher, maybe like 10 for now, and we'll fiddle with these as we go. Now to link them, I want to say when they press the key down, I would like to get the number 5 and I would like to add it to the X velocity. Okay. Similarly, when I press right, I would like to get the number 5 and add it to the X velocity, or change the X velocity to be Y, to be right. With jump height, I like to get our 10 and add it to the Y, because remember X, from maths class, X is horizontal, Y is vertical. Now, if we were to play this right now, you would see that our character moves every time I press the key right, every time I press the key left, and we can jump. Now there's a couple of problems here. Firstly, if I press and hold, nothing happens. That's not great. And secondly, if I kept pressing up, I can sort of fly, and we don't really want that either. So let's fix those problems. Firstly, with the left, I just go in here and click this repeating key, which means if you hold it down, should it be able to repeat? So that will fix the first problem, and we get this sort of like slidey effect happening, which is good. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. And then to fix this jump height, I'm just going to move this over just a smidge. I'm going to get this switch, and now a switch works the same way as a light switch, in that we can go into the switch and to our jump height. Now what this will do is, at the moment, as you can see, the switch is on, which means I can jump. If I were to turn this switch off, I can't jump anymore. Okay, so we would like the switch to start on, so you can jump as soon as the game starts if you would like. But once you've jumped, we would like to turn the switch off, meaning you can't jump in the air. All right? So now I can jump, and I can't jump multiple times. Now the problem is the switch never comes back on, which is not good, which is why we've added this little collision here. So we're going to say that if our player collides with the ground on, let's say on the bottom, right? So these are the sides that it can collide with. We want to say if it hits the bottom, meaning his feet hits the ground, we want to turn the switch back on. Let's see what that looks like. Now when I press up, the switch will go off for a second, you'll see, and then when I hit the ground, it'll turn back on. Yeah? And that's good because it means I can't jump again in midair. So that's good. That's what we want. Now I've noticed that I can't make this first jump. It's not possible, so I'll have to change my jump height to be something a little higher. Not quite. There you go. Good. I can make my jumps now, which is good. Fantastic. Okay, so that's our our first bit in terms of movement. What I would like to do as well is to add a little animation so he walks nicely. So to do that, I'm going to go into Edit Sprite, Animation Editor, and we're going to create a brand new animation called Walk. And this will allow me to put a number of frames together that can be played. Now, luckily for us, if we go back to where we found this character, the frames of him walking are actually provided for us, which is nice. So if I were to play this, you can see him walking, which is good. So let's add that into our behaviors now. So what I would like to do is add in the animation, which is somewhere, animation, and link it to our walk. Now you can see by default it's picked walk because that's the only animation there. Now there are two ways you can do this. You can just link both of these to start. I'll show you what that looks like. Yeah, we've sort of got a bit of a moonwalk happening. But that looks pretty good. Now, I don't know if you notice it, there is a slight problem. Sometimes you stop and he keeps walking for a second. He sort of finishes the animation even if you... So if you don't like that and you want to fix that problem, all you need to do is go from the up key. So when you release the key to stop the animation, you'll notice that it will do that. Yeah. And then that way you don't have to worry about that too much. Now the last thing I want to do is, unless you want your game to be about Michael Jackson moonwalking, is I want my character to flip. So I'm going to add in a flip here. And what I'm going to say is when they press left, I want him to flip so he faces left now. And if you press right, I want him to go back and flip to right. So he goes right and that's fine. He goes left and he looks that way. We can see that works now, okay? Yeah, all that looks good. So I'm happy with that. And I might end the first video there. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll make some more.